exactly who they were? No. They was gossiping. The people in this church trying to divide people in the service? No, it don't. You want to know why? I see that it's enemy causing gossip, and I see that there's one or two things wrong with those people. They're either baby in such a baby state, or they're reprobate. And I prayed and prayed and prayed for them. Lord, help them to see at the mistake that they're making. Because, people get such in a habit of gossiping and doing things, they don't even realize that they're in the middle of it. And before they know it, they're so hard-hearted, it's unbelievable. Warfare. Warfare. Are we recognizing warfare? Well, here's why. These situations, I just say, hey, God, it's your war. And you can win it. You'll take care of these people. And the penalty, you want to find out the penalty of causing division, discord, or David was even scared, don't touch my anointed, and you're his anointed too. When people say bad things about you and destroy you, there's a high penalty to that. David was scared to death to touch Saul, even though Saul was after his life. And people today have no fear to talk about God's anointed people. They don't have no fear about it. They don't have no fear about these situations. They just and go right on. But read 1 Corinthians about what God said. I'll allow something to come upon you, and I'll turn my back to you. I'll lower the hedge and let the devil have at you, and I won't listen to you cry about God when you're going to help me. Big penalties. Like we said, there's big penalties to not realizing you're in war. There's big penalties behind that. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 through 7. But it's up to us. I can battle, if my battle's with Brian, I can battle with him all day long. But I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. It ain't going to do nothing but cause us to get more and more angry at one another. It ain't going to do anything. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, scriptures we've read many times. Chapter 10, verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in the readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Do ye look on things after the outward appearance? If any man trust in himself that he is Christ, let him of himself think this again, that as he is Christ, even so are we Christ. You can fight it in a carnal as long as you want to fight it, but you ain't going to win nothing. And people today fight their battles in the carnal. They fight everything that they got. This and over here, go say something about them. Like I've told Lisa many times, people that say things about you, you can go talk to them and raise Cain with them all you want to, but it ain't going to help nothing. When I was a young little pastor and started out and had a big chaos going against me, I would say things. I learned my lesson. Best thing you can do is be as a dumb little lamb. Unless the Spirit tells you to say something, you might as well just keep your mouth shut. I don't care if it's black and white, and you pull it up to them and you show them exactly what the Word says. They're not going to listen. They're not going to listen to what you got to say. Your warfare is Satan. Your warfare is spiritual. It is not the people that's against you. It's Satan that's against you. Now, he'll pick out the weak sheep, and he'll pick out people to pick on you. He'll pick out people to try to destroy you and pull your mind off that your boat turns the wrong way. But when are we going to recognize our war is against Satan and not against the people that's talking about you? Not against the people that's against you. Not against the people that's listening to the lies out there. Not against the people that think they know it when they don't know anything. It's not against that. It's against Satan and him convincing them that they're right. Him convincing them that they're on the right road. Him convincing them that they're on this right situation. And the only way you're going to win is when you strap on your armor and when you follow God, exactly what He says. Resist the devil. Submit yourself to God, and the Satan will flee. God can destroy every enemy you got against you. And He will do it. He will destroy them. But only when you recognize the seriousness of this war and you realize that He's allowing things to try to bring you to where you'll have an intimate, deep relationship with Him. This is what He wants, and this better be number one in your life. It better be number one in your life. God better be number one in your life. But instead, our number one thing in our life is our worries and concerns about this one saying that about us, or this situation going on in our life, or our troubles in our marriage, or our situations that's going on at work. These are our number one things in our life. Instead of saying, God, you're number one, and going right on from point A to point B and not let nothing knock us off of it, and realizing the snares and the situations that the enemy's going to throw at us, and we can fight it carnal all day long, but you're not going to win. You're not going to win anything. It's time that we learn to fight spiritual. It's time that we learn to let God fight it for us. And go on and realize that this war, if I could ever convince you of anything, it's more than anything. This war that you're in is a war for eternity. It's a war against you becoming everything God wants you to become. That the enemy's trying to steal your heart and get you convinced that you don't have a chance. To get you convinced that the problems that's going on around you, God is not capable of winning it. And trying to convince you that if you'll do this, this will happen. If you go down this road, this right here will happen for you. If you go this way, this right here will happen for you. And let me ask you, how many times have you followed that carnal mind and it come out the way you thought it would? It never does. You just end up in a worse shape than what you were before you started. This church is called to an all-out war against Satan. All-out war. That means that you get up every day. I'll put it on layman's terms, down to the bottom. You get up every day thanking God for the day. Rejoice, for this is the day that the Lord has made. I have another opportunity, God, to praise you and to do the work that you have for me. And Lord, some of the biggest enemies may hit me today, but I know I cannot lose with you on my side. I know I cannot lose. I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm not going to let it bother me. No matter what the enemy throws at me, I will not let it get to me. I will use my shield of faith, and I will keep it out of my mind from me worrying. And I will use my sword to cut the legs out from under my enemies. I will destroy them with what I can. And whatever I can't destroy, God, you'll do it for me. I don't have to do it. All I got to do is obey you, Lord. All I got to do is submit to you, Lord. And what did we say about Ephesians 5? To become one in a marriage, submit ye one to another. How do you become one with Christ? Intimate relationship. Submit to Christ. That's what we said from the very beginning. Christ come that we can have an intimate relationship with God. And the reason we're not, the simple bottom line, is we don't realize the seriousness of the warfare that we're in. We just don't get it. We know we're in war, but we don't know. Capital N, capital K-N-O-W, with the exclamation point, hyphen, underlined, whatever you want to call it. We do not know that we're at war. We don't have it fully convinced. And as we said the other day, we are not convinced, as Paul said in Romans 8,